Everyone, this is Antonio Muñiz. Welcome to a new episode of LatProXperience, where we talk about entrepreneurial success through the Latino lens. And today I have an amazing guest, a great friend. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Her name is Luany Aranky Henriquez, and she's an amazing person, amazing leader, and an amazing businesswoman. So welcome, Luany. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Antonio. Thank you very much for the invitation. I am doing fabulous, honestly, very good. I always said that having health is a blessing, so I am fantastic.
Well, you look great. You look healthy, and I know that you're doing fantastic. So I'm glad. Let me thank you ahead of time for making time for this today. I think it's important that we properly showcase Latino, in this case, Latina talent, and through the entrepreneurial lens as well, so others can see, hey, listen, this is happening. People are winning in my environment, and perhaps use it as inspiration for them to do more.
Of
So
course.
let me ask you this question, because I know you pretty well, but maybe not everyone who's listening today knows you at the same level. So tell us a little bit about you. Who is Luany?
Well, Luani, well, a lot of people, yeah, like you said, they don't know me. Look, Luani is a dreamer, Antonio. I never stop dreaming, honestly. I do believe that you need to pursue what you love in this life to make it happen. I'm from Honduras. Okay, I was born over there, grew up over there, teenager age, and then I came here to United States. And then after that, did my high school here, university, and got married, and I have twins.
Wow.
Just to simplify it a little bit. And like I always, when I became a mom, that's when I saw reality. To be honest with you, because I couldn't plan, my schedule. So I had to plan my schedule according to my kids, especially when you're a mom of twins and you don't have that flexibility. I would say, you have to start thinking what is next.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work in big corporates, I work in accounting at that time, and business also. And there was a time, that I would be there like at 7 a.m., but I would come home at 10 p.m., and I had two little ones that, like how it is, I didn't want to put them through that, waking up so early, dropping them at my mom's. And I said, no, I need to create my own schedule. So one day, it's basically, I told my husband, it's like, I need to do something and I want to create my business. But I never thought it would be title, you know what I'm saying? So he said, okay, think about something you want to do. I had already a little bit of a knowledge in the real estate. That's how I met my husband. Um, but I still was doing, what that accounting. That's what I used to like before, because I learned that from my dad, So it was funny, because from accounting to go to a real estate, nothing, it's like a 360 degree.
Yeah.
Um, so then I basically said one day, okay, we're gonna, you do real estate, so why don't we have a title company? And he's like, his eye just pop up, and he's like, okay, I think that's a good idea, So I started educating myself on that, because it's not the same, Antonio, to be a realtor, and then I experienced that to be a realtor too, and I'm still a realtor. I kept my license, but it's completely different in the back end to be a title agent.
Sure. No, I get it. Thank you for sharing that story. In fact, I hadn't heard some of the pieces of that story myself. So to me, it is great to hear that for the first time. And, we'd had, gosh, almost 70 episodes in LatProXperience. And when I talk to entrepreneurs, male or female, who come from Latino countries, I will tell you that a lot of us have a similar experience. We arrived as teenagers. So there's a great lesson or a great opportunity there, that there's
Yes.
a lot of us who were born, raised, acculturated
Yeah.
in our own countries, and then we come here and we add the U.S. culture. We don't get rid of
No.
native culture. We just add to it, and that creates a very magical combination, both in life and in business. So I came here at age 15. So
Wow.
it's one of those things that I'm finding in a lot in commonality and
Income.
a common thread throughout this LatPro
Oh
experience.
wow.
So
That's good.
it,
I think, when we grew up in other countries, we have the spice, but we have how do I say that? That willing it is higher. And in my case, I can tell you because my family is a very humble family. Okay. I have one of my humble families, my mom's side. And then in the other side, my dad, because this is one of the things I want to tell you. It's like I have two dads. One that my dad in life, right? That's the one that taught me accounting, and then I have my other dad, biological dad. So his family, they came from trucking company in all Central America. So they were well off, I can say that. And then my humble, from my mom's side. But I grew up mainly with my mom, as a single mom, and that seeing her, that she would work so hard for me and my brothers, it made me see her like, oh my God, one day I want to be, someone like a woman that, works, but at the same and give and be that example that my mom is, give the best to the kids, but have a career, Unfortunately, my mom couldn't have a career, because so many things in life, I would say so. But then I had the opportunity, to be somebody, like because of her hard work. So I do appreciate that, and I always take that in consideration in my life because wouldn't be for her, I wouldn't be here, honestly.
yeah, that's crazy. That's more commonalities for us, even though both sides of my family are pretty humble. There was not like, oh, they're better off. No, nobody's better off.
Yeah.
But fantastic. Listen, so just to recap, you born and raised in Honduras, come to the U.S. as a teenager, working as in accounting. I am assuming that you enjoy doing that. You're a numbers person, and then you meet your husband through your exposure to your real estate, and you have twins, double the fun,
Double the
and you're
fun.
like, wow, I'm working a lot. I want to give more to my family.
Yeah.
However, you believe is the best way to do that. And working 12, 15, 16 hours a day for somebody else is not really going to get you there.
Yeah.
So you say, I want a business because I want to control my time. Right.
Yeah, but that's the
And
part that nobody tells you. Wait,
yeah,
that's the part nobody tells you that you work so hard, harder than the actual. When you have a job, 8 hours, right, schedule, and you get a secure pay, right? Nobody told me that part.
spoiler alert, you're going to work harder for less money for a short period of time,
Yes,
maybe for a long period of time, when you become an entrepreneur. So I went through that as well.
imagine
And
that.
no one
That's
tells
good.
you. You're 100% right. No one tells you. And if they tell you, it's just going to be a short period of time. Short for you may be really, really long for me,
Yes,
especially if you have financial pressures and you have twins and you have a household and you're starting a new venture. So you get exposed to real estate through your husband. You float the idea of a title company, a title agency. And
yes.
he's like, well, I like it. You say, I like it too. Let's go. So what year did that happen?
What year? What? I'm sorry.
When did you launch your title company?
It was in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
2017. So I
Yeah.
assumed you started from nothing.
I started
Zero
from
plan.
nothing. I didn't know anything, nothing, to be honest with you, like nothing of education, nothing at all. So I start from scratch. First thing, to go and educate yourself, start looking for schools, go to those classes because they're not easy. So it took me like a year of education, I would say so, to get my license, to pass the test, right? And even with that, you cannot open a title company, right? So it's like step by steps. You need money too.
Hmm.
You need so many insurances. So it's like, oh my God, so many things, so many guidance, so many legal aspects. So it's like to start sitting with attorneys, start people interviewing you, because at the end of the day, I do have the title company, but I have underwriters, you know what I'm saying? That basically I work for them. So they are the ones that they give, produce the title insurance, right? For the title company. So it was a bunch of, you start going to knocking on doors, and a lot of people, they tell you, no, you don't have the, I didn't have the experience. So
Sure.
the first thing that they tell me, oh yeah, you have the license, you have the education, I see your resume is fantastic, but you don't have experience in title. So it's like you start getting, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? What do I do now? So it's like, then that's when I started realizing that basically this is not just a one person's job. You have to start partnering with people. And I partnered up at that time with an attorney. So she was that basically, that person that will guide me, and show me the experience that I needed. And she did that.
Wow. So I don't know enough about title work to be to ask the right questions. But
It's okay.
from my perspective, what a lot of us believe or don't know, I should say, is that title work is a lot of legal. It's got a lot of legal elements to it, and so I can see why you would want to partner early on with an attorney who is willing to guide you through at least the beginning steps until you get the experience to be able to work with more underwriters who
Exactly.
are going to underwrite every case that you provide so you can issue the title insurance that you want to provide to your client. So you
Correct.
start in 2017 getting through that process, $0, zero experience,
Yes.
one attorney relationship, and
Yes, that attorney was no part of the company. I partner up, with her just in the sense to help me out to create that
sure,
experience. I always was number one, that one, the founder of the title company. And but yes, you needed somebody, a guidance, like the law, like you said, like so many steps to go through. And I did it, but one of the things is that I believe in myself. I knew that I had the education, and I know that the experience was not a factor because, like when you start in different jobs, Antonio, you start, with no experience.
yeah,
You start learning softwares that you never have touched before. So you go with the flow and you start learning. And what I like about this, is the behind the scenes, But then later on, I started discover that I started loving more the job because it was like, it's where people they buy a home, right? That there's like their American dream, a lot of them, and they're all savings, right? And I started specializing, in the Latino culture because a lot of us, they come from other countries that, let's be honest, they don't speak the language, they don't write English, and a lot of people they take advantage of them.
yeah.
And I wanted, to be that guidance, to create that memorable experience to them, to be, the neutral person, that is gonna help them out, to obtain that dream that they have, that is buying a home.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it's very new to them to go through such a complex transaction,
Yeah,
and to be so expensive, or it requires
it
so
is very
many
expensive.
everything that you own a lot of times to get through at least the first one.
Yes,
And you're right, when people are that vulnerable, you have two elements that make someone vulnerable. Number one, well, multiple. Number one, the language barrier. Number two, a lot of money. And
I
number
love it.
three is a very emotional purchase.
Yes,
So you add those three things, and when you could be taken advantage of.
yes,
You
and they
know,
get hectic, in the sense that they get nervous, and this is a process that I said to people, you have to enjoy it. Sometimes
yeah,
it happens only one time in life to a lot of people, so you have to enjoy the process. You don't want a bad experience because at the end of the day, it's like you said, those three reasons. It's you have to be in there 100% in this commitment. So that's when I started realizing that I love the job, what I do,
hmm,
and it was a good choice.
yeah. Well, there you go. So fast forward to today. How many? Can you tell us how your business has grown, how many clients you serve and those kinds of, can you share with us the scale of your growth?
Yes. Well, when I started in 2017, we started in Miami. We started in Miami. Then I moved here to Orlando. Like I said, I had to personally invest in the company myself. Okay, at the beginning, because there's no clients, there's no anything, right?
Hmm.
And then we have grown. We serve now the entire state of Florida. We invest a lot in technology. We do a lot of digital closings, not only in the United States, but also in other countries. Like we
Wow.
have done in Europe, Asia, Central America, South America, you name it. Um, it's just, I would say we have grown in clients too. Like we were doing, I don't like, how do I say, like I don't mind the clients, like, how do I say, quantity, you know what I'm saying? Quantity is a volume and you get money, right? What I
Right.
want is quality, you know what
You
I'm
want
saying?
quality. Okay.
I want quality, and I have turned down clients that I have said no, because some people, Antonio, they want to do what they think is good. You know what? And for them, they want to put their own laws and things like that. And unfortunately, I'm not going to risk, my license for no one. And like I said, is I prefer like quantity. You know what I'm saying? I prefer, like, okay, what every closing is a different story, and that's
Hmm.
what I love the most. So the quality, I'm sorry, the quantity can vary depending on the months, but I mainly, of course, focus more on luxury closing.
Okay.
So the luxury closings, they make more money, and I have to work pretty much less. You can say that. So it's like I don't work less, just saying. But it's like less work in the sense that people understand more. They're more educated about the money. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? You don't when you I do a closing of $2 million, or more than that, compared to $100,000. It's completely different clientele. In the $2 million, they understand more about the money, and it's an investment that they might probably done a couple of times. So you present the numbers, you tell them where to sign, they sign. They understand perfectly well. The $100,000 is not like that. They want, basically, one of the things I can tell you, they want rebates a lot, either from realtors and title agents. And sometimes, it's like, if possible, we can give it to them, but if possible, we can, because we cannot
Right.
control the prices. The title insurance is regulated by the state of Florida, so I cannot reduce that. And there are certain reports, that they have to pay it no matter what, to provide the title insurance, because in the other side, I have to provide these reports to lenders or the title underwriters that they're going to insure this home. So with the sense that we have grown, yes, of course we have.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I face that in my world too. I will help an entrepreneur that's just getting started, getting them the right resources, legal services, etc. But that's a tougher conversation, because they're starting from zero, and they don't understand, that $1,000 is not their problem. You know,
Yes.
the everything seems expensive at that level, and a
And
thousand
it
dollars
has
is not the
increased,
problem.
the
Right.
expenses, they have increased. But that's where I think it make us good to be, like, how do I say, like, you have to learn how to reduce expenses. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Like every business, they have to have a budget, number one, a monthly budget. You have to be, and that's where my accounting skills, they came out good, because I do my reports, my own reports. I have a CPA, but I do mostly of the job, mostly of the accounting, and I do give it to the CPA. So I am involved in the actual numbers myself. So I do see the inside, to see the outs. So you, as an entrepreneur, you have to understand the numbers. And if you don't understand, I suggest for you to get a class. Um, to understand this, because that's how you're gonna understand, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? What do I need to low in order to make more and to grow more?
Hmm. Yeah, understand your numbers is critical, and
That's key.
and the more you do it, and the more comfortable you are with that exercise, you make better decisions quicker.
Yes.
You may sit across from Luany. Luany tells you what it's going to take this many dollars to do the closing the right way, and you know that that is not your end game. Your end game is beyond the closing because you're buying that
Yes,
property for something else. Just like, okay, let's go. I believe you. I understand that you're the professional. I am not. And this is just a step in the right direction. Let's go. Whatever the number is, within reason,
exactly.
whatever the number is, right? But I think what happens is a lot of the younger or newer entrepreneurs, they just get paralyzed for every dollar, every nickel, because every dollar and every nickel matters a lot at that
Yes, and
stage.
not only that, it's like, look, some people are afraid to check their bank accounts daily, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. It's like, why are you afraid? You have to see it. Even if it is negative, you have to see it. Those are realities, to be honest with you. And then, okay, let's see how you work to make that green, to make it positive. That's number one. I would check your bank accounts. One of the things I can say, check your bank accounts daily.
Daily.
Be on top of the things that you're paying. Make your numbers. We as a title company, we are audit a lot, a lot. Like I have to do reports daily and monthly, and the monthly ones, they have to be sent to the underwriters. So we're already accustomed to it. Besides, we get audits every year, for files. And thank God, I'm an organized person. I'm super organized, that they come to me and they laugh, because honestly, my files are super neat. And they say, you are the one keeping all this, or your people? And it's like, yes, they do follow, a checklist, and they have to do it. And all the files are the same. So it's like, that tells you that, okay, like you're doing the right job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. I used to own what I started as an entrepreneurial journey. I was in financial services. So I started an agency from scratch, not a title agency, but a property and casualty agency from scratch. And as we grew to serve 6 states and having offices in 6 states and thousands of clients, our standard was the standard. So every file looked the same way. And
Yes,
we got out audited as well. And it was so easy for them to go through the
exactly.
audit. I knew people who resented, this is a sidebar, resented being audited so much that they would take their files and throw them in a box so they'll get all get mixed up. And I'm going, man, you're hurting yourself. I know
Yeah.
you don't want to go through this process, but don't bite that hand right now. You know.
No.
So anyway, I know know your numbers. Number one, face your financial reality every day. I learned
Yes.
that. Whether is if the account is zero, face it is
Yes.
zero, and do what
Me
you need
too.
to do to make it a positive today.
Of
And the
course.
third thing is be organized, especially with your money. It's not about watching every penny, but it's about knowing what that every penny is working for you in some way.
That's a financial education, and I think that's what is missing a lot here is be financial educated. Unfortunately, they don't teach you that in school, Antonio.
I know. I know.
That should be one of the things that it should be focused on, because we deal with a lot. We deal with credit since we are early age, right? 18, for example.
Hmm.
And then what do we do when we are young people? We fill out that credit card, for example, and we don't know how to pay it back. But if somebody does teach you, the correct way how to use it, like that correct way to invest it, see your financials, believe me, a lot of people will be more successful, I think.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I will go an extra step because I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and I've come to learn that it is not that we're not financially educated; it's that we're financially programmed to do the wrong things.
Hmm.
It's not that we're uneducated; it's that we're miseducated. We're taught the
Miseducated.
wrong things. Like, hey, get a credit card, and that's all they tell you.
Yes.
It's easy. That's all they tell you. They don't tell you the mechanics of using credit as a simple example.
But that's
And
it's a responsibility, you know what
big
I'm
time.
saying, of a human being. Like, but that's the thing, like a responsibility that it might probably not happening. It's not happening only in your financial, but maybe in life too, So it all depends, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I had a conversation the other day with a financial advisor here locally in Orlando. He
Uh-huh.
was actually doing a presentation to a group, and the exercise that he did, he split the room in two and gave each side of the room a whiteboard.
Okay.
And then one side of the room they got a question, and the other side got a different question, and neither one of us knew what question the other group had. But
Okay.
one question was, um, what did you wish you had known when you turned 21, financially speaking? What are some of the things? And you just started listing them out. And on the other side was, what mistakes did you make as a young adult that you wish you had better information to avoid? And it was incredible, the answers that both sides of the room had. And these, a lot of the people in the room were business owners.
Oh,
It's like,
wow.
wow, I didn't know how to do this. When I got a first job, I didn't know what 401k was. I didn't know how much money I needed to put in. I didn't know how to pay my loans back, my student loans back. I didn't know that you had to pay them right away. I didn't know that it was 30 years to pay them back. Things like that.
That interest, all those things, you know what I'm saying? All the things that you have mentioned, it's like you don't know until you get your job, honestly.
Yeah.
When
Oh, what
when
it took
the
to,
HR person goes and tells you, start asking you all these questions, you're like, okay.
and this is something that I share with the group, because I am very fortunate. I'm very fortunate that as a young person, as a teenager, my parents moved to the U.S.
Okay.
and they have to learn a lot of the things, right? So a lot of the things we learn as a family.
Okay.
So I knew as a young person what it took to buy a house. I knew the process. I mean, not like a title agent would, or a real
Yeah.
estate agent, but I knew that it takes money. I know that it takes some credit. I know that it took, escrow. I knew what escrow was. I knew the little nuances, right? That you have to have some money down payment, that you can qualify up to so much based on how much money and the other debt, all that matters. So we were schooled together, right? And
Okay.
then, both my parents have corporate jobs at some point. So I heard them talk about retirement accounts and 401ks and things like that. So I go to my first day on the job, and the lady who's onboarding me, right, is giving me a
Uh-huh.
stack of papers. I know it's digital now, but it was a stack of
Yeah.
papers that she gave me. Oh, you got to check, select this and this, your benefits. And what set me off with her was like, everyone does this. And I said, I don't care what everyone does. I know what I want to do. And she wasn't used to that. She wasn't used to
Ah.
someone at 21 years old knowing what to do. So everybody else just gets a stack, and she points to us and say, just click here, hit here, check here, and get out of my office.
Oh,
That was the
wow.
process, right? So everybody got the same thing. So
Yeah.
somebody coming in at 25 and somebody coming in at 35, they got the same investment
That's
vehicle in the
investment.
401k. They got the same health benefit. It was crazy. And this is a Fortune 100 company. This was not a little company.
Wow. No,
So,
that's good. That's good. And how do you how do you guys like will talk with your parents, like that you said that you guys educated yourself all together, like in the table when you were having dinner? What was it like? How you will have this conversation?
it was actually after dinner. We didn't talk about this stuff during dinner, but it was after dinner. I said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're living in a tiny apartment. We hate it here. We need to find a
Uh-huh.
house. We need to have a bigger space. So this bigger space is going to cost this many dollars. And for that to happen, we need to have this kind of down payment. Our credit is good, but our spending is not good. So we need to look at, we're going to start
Reductions.
cutting things. As a family, we're going to start cutting things. So we understood,
Yeah.
this is the reality. And then we go drive by the house. In our case, it was a townhouse. We lived in
Okay.
Northern Virginia. It's very expensive in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
So I said, that's the townhouse. So you have a visual of what you're sacrificing for,
Yes.
and you start visualizing what it's going to look like to have your own room, to have a nice place, to have a basement, to have a
Yes.
TV room, those kinds of things versus a 2-bedroom apartment, right?
Of course, that's a big difference. But I
Yeah,
think that that's a really good idea that involving your kids, like I talk to my kids about those things and they see my kind of work, and you have seen them too, that sometimes they even help me out in events, like
absolutely.
giving little goodies and things like that. And, I have had people that they even have congratulated me. It's like, you're doing a really good job, because they are trained perfectly. But, like, to say at the table and things like that. So they see your example, and I think talking to them, that creates, a foundation, for them to understand, the future. So it's really good, like
I
that.
agree. You're doing a great job with them, and it shows in its exposure. The
Yes,
earlier you get exposed to something, the more you're going to learn about it or know about it. So I've seen
yeah,
it with friends of mine who have young kids, and they're like, "Wow, your kids are like adults." Well, if you treat them like
yeah,
like human beings, not like little toys and little babies all the time, they're going to learn things, that their vocabulary is going to evolve and their thinking is going to evolve a little bit faster. And it's
yes.
amazing the conversations that you can have with some of these kids, and
With these
wow,
kids,
that
they
blows
have
me away.
their mind is very open, I would say
Yeah.
so, and they have a lot of vocabulary.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like one of the twins, she has this vocabulary that she knows all the things, and I'm like, girl, how do you know all these things? And even my husband is like, we're like amazed. We just look at each other. It's like, okay, she said it this way. I don't even know what it means. But then she tells us in another way. It's like, okay. So, but yeah, it's very good. And I think they have their intelligence, nowadays is like superior, honestly.
It's exposure. They have a lot more data in front of them all the time. So it's up to us as, leaders of the pack
Yes,
to put them in front of the right information so they don't get misinformed.
it's
Like a
true.
lot of people got misinformed. So